The film begins at sea, where a Russian submarine, the Sevastopol, is carrying a highly dangerous computer device. Which self-learning technology has become so advanced that it can tamper with any network. This device is accessed using a special cross-shaped key. The key is made up of two cross-like parts. The crew aboard the submarine finds that a nearby enemy submarine has fired a torpedo at them. They also fire their torpedoes, but are soon surprised to find that both the submarine and their torpedoes have disappeared. As if they were never there. Within a short time, their own fired torpedo comes back towards them and destroys the submarine. Due to which all the crew members present on the ship die. The key is hanging around the neck of the dead floating members. In next scene, Ethan Hunt is visited by a rookie agent of Mission Impossible Force, or IMF, who poses as a food delivery boy and brings him his new mission log. The audio message of the mission is sent by IMF Director Eugene Kittredge, who gives Ethan information about the key and says that this key is definitely being used for some destructive work. Kittredge also says that your old partner Ilsa Faust is now acting as a rebel and has half of the key, and there is a $50 million bounty on her head. It can be reached by following a group of bounty hunters. He further said that someone from Ethan's past life is involved in this mission. This is the same person who made him join the IMF. Ethan follows them into the Namibian desert where Ilsa is hiding. They are heading towards Ilsa on horseback in the middle of a sandstorm. But before following Ethan, he alerts Ilsa to his presence with a lens light. The group follows Ethan to Ilsa's hideout, where Ilsa shoots several people. Then both of them fight them with their guns. But it seems Ilsa has been shot. Eugene Kittredge meets with the heads of the intelligence agencies known as the Community, whose director is Dan Linger. They are discussing a computer device called the Entity, an AI computer system that is rapidly self-learning and has infiltrated the networks of many countries. Which self-blasted a Russian submarine and has been involved in many network intrusions. Kittredge says that this system cannot be destroyed, so the best option is if it can be controlled. There, Ethan disguises himself and uses knockout gas to render everyone except Kittredge unconscious. He makes Kittredge wear a mask and renders everyone else unconscious. Ethan learns that Kittredge is the one who put out the bounty on Ilsa. Flashbacks reveal that Ilsa is still alive and gave Ethan half of the key she had before escaping. Kittredge warns Ethan that whatever he's about to do is going to be the most dangerous mission Ethan has ever undertaken. Ethan then uses Kittredge's mask to escape from building. And he renders Kittredge unconscious with a tranquilizer dart. Ethan and his IMF colleagues Benji and Luther meet to discuss a plan to capture the computer system, the Entity, and the person responsible for it. They learned that a buyer was going to buy the keys at an airport in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, an agent from the community agency named Jasper and his partner Degas pursue Ethan. The three IMF men arrive at the airport for their mission. With the help of Benji and Luther, Ethan manages to hack into Jasper's facial system and send him after the wrong people. Ethan pursues a woman named Grace, who has stolen the second part of the key from the buyer's pocket, but it turns out to be a fake. Ethan asks Grace to put the stolen key back in the buyer's pocket so he can track her down and find out the key's true purpose. But they get to know that the buyer is dead, murdered by a lady named Paris. Ethan captures Grace and forces her to stay with him. They try to escape from Jasper and his men. Grace escapes after stealing the keys from Ethan when Ethan sees a man named Gabriel. Ethan knows him. Then he disappears into thin air. After seeing Gabriel, Ethan tells Luther and Benji that they are ending this mission. Jasper and Degas then find Ethan and chase him to the airport, but he manages to escape. Ethan tracks Grace to Rome, where she is caught by the police with several fake passports and identities. Who is wanted all over the world for many crimes of theft. Ethan arrives there posing as Grace's lawyer and learns that Grace was hired by an anonymous person to obtain the key. When Ethan tries to sneak out, Grace runs away. Then both of them meet Paris. Paris and the police officer are chasing both of them together. He is driving his car all over the city of Rome and the police and Paris are chasing him. Ethan finds the IMF's secured car so he can't be tracked, but Paris tracks them down anyway because she works for the Entity. After escaping the police and Paris, Grace run away from Ethan again. Ethan meets Benji and Luther, where Ilsa has also come. They discuss the Entity system and Gabriel. Before Ethan joined the IMF, Gabriel murdered Ethan's girlfriend named Mary. They plan to go to a party in Venice where Gabriel will attend. At the party, Gabriel meets Grace and brings her to a woman named Ilana Mitsopoulos. Ethan and Ilsa also find them, discovering that Ilana has the other half of the key and was the one who hired Grace to find the other half. Gabriel talks about the entity. The entity can achieve anything by reading people's minds by doing millions of calculations every second, so it will definitely get the key in some way or the other. So he asks Ilana to sell him the keys. He tells Ethan that either one of your special ones, Ilsa or Grace, will die before he gets the key tonight. Grace runs to escape, but Gabriel catches her on the canal bridge. Ethan tries to run towards him, but the entity hacks into Luther's computer and sends Ethan messages sending him in the wrong direction. Paris arrives and blocks Ethan's path. She fights him and is defeated, but Ethan spares her life. Ilsa finds them both and fights Gabriel, and Gabriel attacks Ilsa with a knife and kills her. Ethan is too late to arrive because Ilsa is dead. Grace joins Ethan, Benji and Luther as she feels remorse over Ilsa's death, but Luther assures her that she is not to blame for her death. Ethan promises to protect Grace in this mission. Luther goes to an offline location to restore the data on his hard drive and remove the entity's codes. He also tells Ethan not to kill Gabriel because he is the only person who knows what can be opened with that key and what is its use. They make plans to meet Ilana, who is about to sell half the key to a buyer on the Orient Express train. And Grace has half the key. Benji makes a mask of Ilana for Grace so that Grace can pretend to be Ilana and go on the train. But when he tries to make a mask of Ilana's brother's face for Ethan, the mask machine breaks down. Due to which Ethan will have to make a new plan to board the train. Gabriel and Paris board the train and Gabriel kills the drivers and destroys their brake systems, allowing the train to run at full speed. Ethan arrives on a motorcycle and his plan is to jump onto the train with a parachute when the train slows down at a turn. Grace knocks Ilana unconscious and takes the other part of the key from her. And pretends to be like her. Meanwhile, the community's director Dan Linger meets with Gabriel and Paris, who hopes to ally himself with the entity, so that he can use his power. He talks about the Sevastopol submarine, which was testing its stealth capabilities using the entity's network. When Dan Linger says he is the only one who knows where the Sevastopol submarine sank, Gabriel slits his throat. Because he does not want anyone other than him to know about his location. Then Gabriel tells Paris that you have come to know the truth about this key. You will betray me because Ethan spared your life. Gabriel stabs him. Benji is helping Ethan with the location of the train. Ethan misses his chance to jump onto the train via motorcycle when the train's brakes fail. So he has to jump off a cliff and land with a parachute and time his landing precisely. Grace then meets the buyer of the keys, who turns out to be Kittredge. Kittredge gives him $100 million for the key. But she feels wronged and does not accept the payment. She steals the key from Kittredge again, and leaves. But when the real Ilana awakens, Ilana's people go after Grace. And they take the keys from Grace, but Ethan breaks the window and gets inside in time. And comes in the train and kills those people. But the key falls somewhere and Gabriel takes it. Ethan goes after Gabriel, who has climbed on top of the train. There is a tremendous fight between the two. Jasper and Degas are also on the train and pursue Ethan. Grace goes to the front of the train to stop it. After a lengthy fight, Jasper and Degas corner Ethan before killing Gabriel, causing Gabriel to jump from the train. Gabriel then sets a timer to bomb the approaching bridge. Ethan and Grace unhook the engine and the agents try to get everyone to safety and send all the passengers back. The bridge blows up and the engine falls into the river. The rest of the train moves forward slowly and one by one several carriages fall into the river, from which Ethan and Grace escape. And Ethan and Grace have to climb through several falling boxes. Just before they fall, they are saved by Paris. Paris is stabbed and before she dies she tells Ethan that the key is connected to the Sevastopol submarine. Before Jasper and Degas can arrest him, Ethan opens his parachute and flies away. Grace then meets with Kittredge and tells him that she is with Ethan and that she wants to join the IMF. Gabriel appears satisfied with his victory after finding both parts of the key. But he realizes that Ethan has taken the key out of his pocket during the fight, causing him to shout Ethan's name in anger. Ethan reunites with Benji, who now has the key. In the final scene of the film, we hear the voice of Eugene Kittredge telling Ethan that his next mission is to find Sevastopol and save the world from the entity. The Part 1 of Mission Impossible Death Reckoning ends.